Hi there, everyone. Thanks for coming back. This video is going to be slightly different to the ones I've done before. This is actually going to be a not celebrity signings, but more of a celebrity meetings. It's going to be looking back through all my meetings with previous Doctor Who cast and some crew members as well, and looking at the people that I've met over the last few years, just to kind of give you a run through of the types of folks I've had the luck to catch up with. I've met quite a few people, certainly cast members from Doctor Who, but what I've done is I've tried to whittle this down to pretty much just either main cast, so doctors and companions. I have chucked a few odd people in here and there. I think have sort of had a bit of an impact on episodes, but people that have just happened to be in an episode that I've met, I've not included those as part of this. So hope you enjoy, and see how we get on. Okay, so I think what I thought I'd do is start from the sort of start in terms of the beginning of the show and work my way through, in each companion, Doctor, whoever, try and fit them into the time frame that they fall into. So, in terms of the person I've met from the earliest part of the series, it's the awesome Mr. William Russell. William was Bill Hartnell's first companion, or one of his first companions. He was Ian Chesterton. He is actually the only companion I've met for William Hartnell. Obviously, because of the age of the show, there aren't that many people left, unfortunately. Anyway, Carol Ann Ford is still around, but I've never actually met up with her. But I went to an event that William was at, and I had to meet up with him and had to get a photo. He's a really nice old guy, obviously getting on a bit now, but really cool to meet somebody from the original series. And then I also was really, really lucky to meet. I went to an event, I think not last year, the year before, and got to meet this chap. Now, quite a lot of people involved with Doctor Who may not know who he is. His name is Waris Hussein, and he was actually, believe this or not, looking at him, he actually directed the very first episode of Doctor Who, so An Unearthly Child. He actually directed that, which I just find absolutely incredible. He directed 11 episodes of Doctor Who in total throughout the run of William Hartnell. And a really, really nice guy again, so incredible to meet up with him. Next person I met was Wendy Padbury. Um, Wendy's best known for playing Zoe, and she was a companion during the Patrick Troughton period. And I've actually met Wendy a couple of times. I've got two photos with her. This one was obviously is from some time ago, as you can see, and this one more recently at a convention in Cardiff. So yes, that was really cool, and she's lovely again, so really cool to meet up with Wendy. Next two people I was lucky enough to meet are Katie Manning and Caroline John, and respectively they played Jo Grant and Liz Shaw during the Jon Pertwee period. Sadly, Caroline is no longer with us. She passed away a few years ago, so I was really pleased to have had the opportunity to meet up with her. And as you can see, they were just so fan friendly. They really were, and just so happy to meet up with people who loved the show. And I also got a chance to meet Katie again last year at a Sarah Jane Smith event, which was really cool. Yeah, so she's lovely and very, very friendly, as you can see. Next person I met was John Levine, who probably best known as Sergeant Benton, but if memory serves me right, he currently in the scheme of things in the Whoniverse, he is actually Brigadier Benton now, but Sergeant Benton certainly what he's best known for, and I got to meet him at a small, very, very small convention that took place last year, which is really cool. I think the next person needs no introduction, and this is probably one of my all-time favourite photos. I absolutely love this. It's the awesome Mr. Tom Baker. I'd never had the chance to meet Tom because he only goes to a very, very small sort of field of conventions and things these days. So it's not that easy to meet up with him, but it was really cool. Managed to get this photo with him, and I absolutely love it. And it just makes me laugh every time I see it. Next up is the awesome John Leeson. John is probably not that recognisable for people who don't know Doctor Who that well, but he actually voices K9, who is the mechanical dog. Oh, sorry, as I'm talking, I don't know if you heard that, but my home device just started speaking to me, which is rather weird. Yeah, so John is best known for voicing K9, the mechanical dog that was pretty much kind of had its main run through the Tom Baker period, but it has appeared sort of since in Sarah Jane Adventures, a bit of David Tennant stuff. So he's appeared along the way. Next up is Peter Davison. He's Doctor number 5. As you can see in this picture, he was absolutely thrilled to meet me, as you can tell by the look on his face. I've only met him once, and if I'm totally honest, because I've got a photo with him, I'm not that bothered about meeting him again. He's a bit of a grumpy bugger. But yes, another one on the list, so that's really cool. Next up is not a particularly brilliant photo, but of the lovely Nicola Bryant, who is best known for playing Perry Pagilian Brown, in the Doctor Who sort of period. So she would have been with Peter Davison, and then fallen on into the Colin Baker period as well. And managed to grab this selfie with her at a very small event that I attended. And talking of Mr. Colin Baker, old Sixie himself, here he is. This is from a couple of years ago. I think he's actually dropped the beard now. He obviously grew it for something he was filming. Doesn't have the beard anymore, but a very friendly chap all the same. Quite happy to do the con circuits these days. You'll see him out and about. But another one for the Doctor list, which is really cool. And talking of the Doctors, here we go, is number 7. Oh God, slap wrist. Number 7, old spoon players playing him, gentleman himself, Sylvester McCoy. Again, really lovely. I think his period as the Doctor was cut a bit short, to be honest. I think he was unfortunate, just the way the Beeb just was really shitty with the series and sort of drew it to an end. And at least we got to have the opportunity to see him um, uh, um, regenerate into the next Doctor in the TV movie, albeit it's not the great movie, or not in my opinion anyway. But at least we got to see him have a fitting end to his role as the Doctor. And here I am with his companion, pretty much in fact, his main companion through his entirety of the series, the lovely Sophie Aldred, who was Ace, of course. And if you ever get the chance to meet Sophie, do. She really is lovely. Next up is Doctor number 8, and the Doctor from the TV movie. It's Mr. Paul McGann. He also came back once, I think, in the Night of the Doctor, the little tiny sort of 5-minute episode. But again, which is really cool to kind of wrap up his storyline, even though we only really got to see him in the movie. We got to wrap up his storyline, which was really nice. And this lady is included in here because she played a fairly big part in the Eighth Doctor storyline. It's Claire Higgins, and she played a healer, and she was one of the Sisterhood of Khan, who basically helped Paul McGann to regenerate when he was dying, helped him to regenerate into the War Doctor, Mr. John Hurt, who sadly I never got the opportunity to meet, and I shall regret it forever, I'm sure. Next up is the absolutely awesome, the saviour of Doctor Who, I think everyone would agree, Mr. Russell T Davies, producer, writer, showrunner, all things awesome. Really, really nice guy and very, very cool to meet. And the brilliantly funny Mr. Bernard Higgins. Bernard Cribbins, sorry, it's been a long video. I love this picture. He was pulling stupid faces with everybody who came through to have a photo shoot with him, and I love this one. He was just being a bit of a comedian, because that's what he is, I guess, and pulling brilliant faces. But he was Wilfred Mott, of course, Catherine Tate's granddad, during the David Tennant run as the Doctor. And really nice to meet this chap. Very, very nice guy if you ever get a chance. Next up is Eve Miles, who's played 2 characters in Doctor Who. She played Gwyneth in one episode, but she's probably best known for playing Gwen Cooper during only a small handful of episodes in Doctor Who, maybe 3 or 4 episodes, 3 I think. But of course she was Gwen Cooper also in the spin-off of Torchwood, which is amazing, and if you haven't seen it, definitely do. She is lovely. Really, really nice. Next up is the absolutely awesome David Morrissey. I mean, this guy, I don't think it's a series this guy hasn't been in, but he was Jackson Lake in The Next Doctor, which was a brilliant episode. And I know technically he, obviously he wasn't a doctor, he wasn't a companion, whatever, but he had a huge part in that episode, and I love it. It's a really fun episode. And fuck, it's David Morrissey, he's awesome. So what can I say? Next up is a really, really old picture. This, I really hate it, but it's a really cool picture all the same. It's Mr. Mark Gatiss. Obviously, Mark's known for doing tons of stuff. He wrote loads of episodes. He wrote Adventures in Time and Space. He was also been in it several times. He was Lazarus. He did the voice of Danny Boy. He was Gantok, and he was the captain in the Peter Capaldi final episode as well that aired at Christmas. So a huge, huge part to play in Doctor Who. And I actually met him. This picture was taken literally in the run up to the new series starting. So I think he was involved in very small ways, but it was only at conceptual stage at this point, which is why I happened upon him at a Doctor Who event, and nobody else even batted an eyelid that he was there. But I managed to grab him because I was a huge League of Gentlemen fan anyway, so it was really cool to meet him. And next up is slightly odd, and again, but I really like it. It's Tommy Knight, who's best known as Luke Shaw, the son of Sarah. Luke Shaw, for God's sake, Luke Smith. Sorry, Luke Smith, who's best known as the son of Sarah Jane Smith from Sarah Jane Adventures, and also the companion from the kind of predominantly from the Tom Baker period. Yeah, and I met him at a Sarah Jane Smith event, which was really cool, so I decided to pop him in here because he's been in a few episodes of Doctor Who, and obviously was in the spin-off, pretty much every episode of the spin-off as well. Next up is a really blurry photo. I'm really sorry about it, but it's Stephen Moffat, producer, writer, the Moff. Yeah, it's a really blurry photo, I know, but I managed to grab him very quickly. As you can see, he was at a graduation event, which is why he was wearing that stupid get-up. But I managed to literally jump in front and grab a selfie with him really quickly, which is cool. Next up is Michelle Gomez, who's best known as Missy. If you haven't watched the series yet, I won't give away who Missy was, but frankly, shame on you if you're that far behind. But she's an awesome character in it, and she's lovely to meet, and she's absolutely bonkers and did loads of cool poses for people while she was doing her photo shoot at an event. I think it was LFCC, maybe 2 years ago. Next up is Jenna Coleman. Yes, everyone says, and I know it's true, she looks a bit miserable in this. She actually was really unwell at the photo shoot day I went to, but she was really, really good for taking photos anyway. And yeah, so it was really cool to meet her. Obviously, she plays Clara Oswald in the sort of Matt Smith into Peter Capaldi period. Yeah, really cool to get a picture with Jenna. Last few now, Ingrid Oliver. This is really cool. Ingrid played Osgood. I love the character of Osgood. She was absolutely superb. I actually met her on set, which was brilliant. Yeah, so she was lovely, really, really nice, and was quite happy to pose for photos with me. And a lovely, lovely lady. If you get the chance to meet her, she is brilliant. Next up is the awesome Pearl Mackie, one of my absolute favourite companions from the last few years. She was Bill Potts, and I absolutely loved her. Such a shame it was a tiny, tiny short period as a companion in Doctor Who, but she was lovely, and I really, really enjoyed her period as the companion because I thought she was just so ballsy and gutsy and just unlike a lot of companions that have come before, but things didn't centre around her like they started to do with Clara. It became less of Doctor Who and more of the Clara Oswald show, I think, towards the end. So it was brilliant to have a companion like her. And obviously, you can't have Pearl Mackie without having the awesome Mr. Matt Lucas. Genuinely brilliant guy. Played Nardole, of course, and is just hilariously funny. And it was so cool to meet him because I've been a lifelong fan of his anyway, which is brilliant. Next up, you've really got to finish on Doctor 13, haven't you? Mr. Peter Capaldi. Now, there's a few of these because I've actually met Peter several times. This was on set while he was filming. Bear with me, sorry, 2 seconds. Yeah, so I met Peter on set, which was awesome, and Ingrid Oliver actually took this photo for me, which is really cool. But as you can see, I've met Peter a few more times. This was at the Blink House, which he filmed another episode in recently. And I got to meet him again in costume, which is really, really cool. He wasn't it doesn't look so thrilled to meet there. I think it'd been a long day, and it was end of a long day when I grabbed him. But he was quite happy to meet up there and take photos. I actually met him in the centre of Cardiff again, as I did say, I met him a few times. And here we are again at Cardiff University. This is my absolute favourite picture, though, of Peter. I love this one. It's so rare to get Peter smiling, because whenever he does photos, he's always in character. He's always looking very serious and being serious Peter. But I asked him if he could give me a cheesy smiley face, and he just burst out laughing, and I managed to grab this picture of him, which was awesome. So as you can see, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times I've met the awesome Peter Capaldi, and I loved his stint as the Doctor. And finally, we haven't had a chance to see him yet, but last year I got to meet Bradley Walsh, who is going to be playing Graham in the new series, which is due to start very shortly with Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited to see what Jodie can do as the Doctor. I think she's going to be brilliant, and I cannot wait for it. So that's it. That's everyone I've met so far from Doctor Who series. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of bump below, and hopefully see you for my next autograph update very, very shortly. Cheers. Bye-bye.